Hello friends, today we are going to start new chapter number 16, Economic Liberalization and Globalization, lecture number 1. Friends, we have already started our economics part in our previous chapter. We discussed about the economic development in the previous chapter. So now, when we have already started learning economics, we already started understanding the concept of economics in the previous lecture, and in the previous chapter as well. We discussed about lot of things that are related to economics, starting from the economic development. If we are talking about economics, the aim of any country is related to the development in economy. The aim of each and every country is to increase the economy of that particular country. So it is very much important for any country to increase their economy. So here, why it is necessary for a country to develop its economy? And what are the attempts that a country makes to increase its development? Friends, in the previous chapter we discussed that there are always three indicators, that is the national income, per capita income and the standard of living, through which this economic development is measured. If any country wants to make any kind of economic development or economic growth, they want to get increment in these three indicators. So here friends, in this chapter, we are going to learn about the attempts that are made by the government. What does any country do to increase its economy? What steps do they take? What planning they are making to make economic development in that particular country? Yes, obviously it is very much necessary for any country to plan to get economic development. So what planning has been made in the country in our country to get economic development? Friends, in the previous lecture we discussed about the three market system, in which we discussed about the market system, socialist system and the mixed economy. When we were learning about the mixed economy, we discussed that if we talk about the Indian market, Indian economy, there exists the mixed economy, that is the coordination of the private sector as well as the public sector. The existence of both these things are clearly seen over here. So friends, when we are talking about increasing any economy in any country, what is necessary? Then lots of the country needs to focus on lots of things. Like the country needs to focus on the overall standard of living. The country needs to provide all the basic necessities, the basic facilities that the people need. Here we can consider each and everything like health, education, entertainment. Each and every facility are required by the people. We can consider economic development only when these all things are achieved by the people. And for that, the increment in economy is also necessary. That is the first and basic thing. So here, what the country plans in this chapter, we are going to discuss about some of the steps, some of the reforms that were made by our country to increase the economy of our country. What plays a major role in increasing the economy of India? After here it is said that obviously we were knowing that in the past we have experienced such a thing that the Britishers and many other foreigners, they came here just for the purpose to trade in India. But they came here to trade. But instead of trading, they started ruling on us. So we have experienced that these traders have misused the whatever benefit they got from India. And so now the country used to take each and every step very carefully. So after here it says, after making the economic reforms in the year 1991, government made several changes. In this chapter we are going to learn about some of the such things. We are going to learn how our country started the economic liberalization, globalization and privatization. What is economic globalization, privatization and liberalization? That we are going to learn in this chapter itself. Let us start with today's topic. Today let us understand about the economic reforms of 1991. Economic reforms of 1991. So friends, this is the simple thing. Economic reforms of 1991. Here it is said, this is the introductory part, how this economic liberalization, globalization and privatization came into existence. We are going to learn about that. If we talk about the very first point, we can say that when India became independent in the year 1947, when India became independent in the year 1947, we all know that its economy was completely ruined. Friends, we all are aware that when India became independent, our economy was completely ruined. We are very much aware about the reason why our economy was completely ruined. Because the people whom we considered as the traders of our country, who came with the intention of trading in our country, they started ruling on us. Friend, they almost ruined the East India Company. They started ruling on us. After the year 1857, even the Britishers, when the Queen of England started its rule on India up to 1947, they economically totally ruined. We all have already discussed in the history part that their main intentions, when the Britishers ruled on us, their main intention was to earn maximum profit from India. They were not here to give proper administration or proper rule to India, but their main aim was to earn maximum profit from India. They used to take maximum and the proper best quality raw materials from here, and they used to make product in England and sell into the ready market of India and earn maximum profit from it. And due to that, they almost ruined the Indian industries. So friends, here, and that is why we clearly know that when the Britishers gave us independence in the year 1947, our Indian economy was completely ruined. Indian economy was completely ruined. So now it was the responsibility of the government. Government had to and now the government's responsibility increased. Government had to act fast and that also in systematic way. That also in systematic way, and in systematic way, so that it could achieve speedy, so that it can achieve speedy economic development. So that it can achieve speedy economic development. Friends, here completely it is a government had to act very fast and in a very systematic manner so that it could achieve speedy economic development. Because in the year 1947 when we got independence and our economy was totally ruined. Now if we want economic development in our country, if we have to progress ourselves economically, then our government had to plan very speedily and in very systematic way so that India can achieve speedy economic development. So to do so, India initiated five-year plan. To do so, India initiated five-year plans. From the year 1951. For this process, that is to increase and to achieve speedy economic development, India initiated five-year plan. What is this five-year plan? Through this five-year plan, our government is making several plans to achieve speedy development, to increase economic growth in our country, so that through that economic growth we can achieve economic development in our country, and this can be done in a short period of 5 years, and that is why our government initiated five-year plans from the year 1951 so that planning can be made in each and every department and progress can be achieved in the economy of our country. Here it is said, at the end of every 5-year plan, India would review. Now, after every 5-year plan, India would review and it would check the progress made in economy. Friends, here it is said that at the end of every 5-year plan, this 5-year plan was started in 1951. So after every 5-year plan, now our government would review that how much progress they had made in Indian economy, in our economy, in any particular field. So after every 5-year plan, they used to do the survey, they used to review that how much progress is achieved in economy. So this 5-year plan played very important role. Here it is said that India also announced its monetary policy. India also announced its monetary policy. Fiscal policy and industrial policy. India also announced its monetary policy, fiscal policy and industrial policy. During these plans, this 5 years plan to boost the economy. Friends, here it is said India also announced the monetary policy. Monetary policy is the policy through which the whole market is monitored and as per the monitoring by the government the policies are made. We will talk about monetary policy in detail in our further lectures. We will discuss about the fiscal policy, industrial policy, lots of rules and regulations were changed and made for the industries. So industrial policies. So here it is said India announced monetary policy, fiscal policy, industrial policy. Such kind of policies were made during these 5-year plans to boost our Indian economy, to make our economy more stronger, to grow our economy more and more stronger. Such kind of policies were introduced during these 5-year plans. Monetary policy, fiscal policy and industrial policies where industries were introduced so that our economic growth can be clearly made. The increase in our economy can be clearly seen. They can boost our economy. That was the main reason to introduce these policies. Friends, here it is said that even after implementing several 5 years plan, also India was not able to achieve. After implementing several 5-year plans, also India was not able to attain the economic development it aimed about. So here it is said that after implementing these several 5-year plans also, still India was not able to achieve the economic development that it aimed about. Right? Our aim was to increase more economy, was to get more development in economy through this 5-year plan. But after implementing several 5-year plans also, still we were lagging behind and not able to achieve the economic development as we had aimed about. We have thought about making this. Then the government then did thorough investigation. Then the government then did thorough investigation of the causes for failures. Friends, here it is said that the government then did thorough investigations about what is the cause of the failure. Why India is failing in achieving its aim in the economic development that it aimed about. And so now government started doing thorough investigation that why we are failing in achieving our aim, why we are not reaching our target. So government started investigation about it based on this investigation. Now, based on this whole investigation, here it is said, it decided to bring major changes. Here is based on the investigation, it decided to bring major changes in its economic policies. Now, as we were feeling, government now decided to make investigation. After doing this investigation, now they decided to make several changes in all the economic policies. As a result, in the year 1991, the government brought major reforms in the year 1991. The government brought major reforms in its industrial policy. In the year 1991, government made several reforms, that is the changes in its industrial policy. The three major reforms that it brought, were liberalization, second privatization, and third was globalization. What is all these things? We are going to learn in our further lectures. Government brought three reforms, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization was introduced. These three reforms are known as economic reforms of 1991. These reforms are known as the economic reforms of 1991. So friends, you might have understood about the economic reforms of 1991. Thank you.